Hi everyone, my name is Eddie and this is How to Get Living. Today I'm going to talk about responsibility versus blame. This is something that's kind of been coming up around me quite a bit in the last few weeks, and that is the distinction between taking responsibility and blame, or taking blame. It's something that quite a few people seem to have difficulty understanding, this sort of distinction, because when they hear talk about responsibility, specifically it seems me talking about taking responsibility, what they seem to translate that into is the idea of blame. And there's a really big distinction, a really big difference between taking responsibility versus taking the blame. Some things you can't be responsible for. Some things just happen around you or to you and it has nothing to do with you. They just happen. There's no way you could have avoided them. You can't really take responsibility, for example, for the circumstances you were born in, or the innate talents that you have, the shape and size of your overall body, for example, if you're tall or short. There's just nothing that you can do about that. You can't be blamed for it. It's not realistic, but you can take responsibility for it. You can take responsibility. You can choose how you act and how you operate in the world with the circumstances that you're in. Okay? And so being able to take responsibility is kind of like this weird superpower in a way. If you adopt an attitude that you always have a choice, whatever circumstances you're in, whatever happens to you, you always are able to choose what you do next, that's going to have a really big effect on you, especially as you learn to make that into a mental habit and something that you think about and practice all the time. It's also a really, really key foundational skill to have to cultivate good mental health. Okay, because if you can't distance yourself from the circumstances and things that are happening around you and decide how am I going to respond to the situation, rather than seek someone to blame or seek a reason why something has happened that's external to you, but actually instead choose to find a way that you can maximize the utility of a situation where you can decide how you're going to respond and what you're going to do with whatever has happened around you or to you, then you're going to be in big trouble if your attitude is constantly to shift to some other circumstance, something that's outside of your control, and look at that and focus on that. You're going to be really like, you kind of put yourself in a corner. It kind of takes away all your options. Okay, so I want you to think about it and look in your own life into what's happening around you and what is outside of your control, what's external, and what is inside of your control. What circumstances have you put yourself into? What have you created that you would like to improve or change? And where are you taking responsibility as well? Where are you choosing to own what's happening to you? Think about this, meditate on it. You always want to be shifting things out of the category of stuff that's just happening to you that you can't control into the category of what you can control. Okay, that's a mental leap that happens first. First you decide, I have control over this. I have control over my emotions, my finances. I have control over what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis, my habits, where I'm working, who I'm in a relationship with. I have control over all these things, and assessing that and owning that. And then as you start to do that more and more, you're going to have more personal power in your life. You're going to be more fulfilled, and you're going to become a lot more alive and be living a lot more. Trust me, give it a go. Take responsibility. Always take responsibility, and learn to differentiate between whether it's blame versus responsibility. Thank you for listening. My name is Eddie. This is How to Get Living.